Good afternoon, it's Mr McCarthy here with another online assembly, and today we're going to be returning to a topic that we covered a few weeks ago, mental health, which is obviously an important topic all of the time, but particularly at the current time. So when I started to plan this assembly, I actually thought, I think all aspects of the Stockland Green Standard have relevance to this topic actually. So I think it's particularly important to care for yourself during these times, but also to care for others and to help them to maintain positive mental health through sort of empathy and kindness and behaving with integrity and fairness. I think the lockdown does test your resilience and determination without a shadow of a doubt, and I think I'm very, very proud of the way that so many of the students that I've interacted with have responded to it. I think we need to take some kind of responsibility for our own well-being as well as sort of seeking help where necessary, and I think we have to believe that we can make changes where necessary and do things to sort of act upon and improve our mental health. And we've got Article 24 there, health and health services, and everyone has the right to positive mental health and the right to access services to help them to do so. So last time we talked about the topic of mental health, we had a special guest, Mrs McCarthy, and she gave an idea of some of the support that's available out there for people that need a little bit of extra help with their mental health, or even if you just want to talk to someone about something. And so I'm going to invite Mrs McCarthy back in again today to sort of recap that and to give some further thoughts about managing your mental health during the lockdown.
Hi everyone, Mr McCarthy has asked me to recap on some of the issues that we discussed last time when we discussed mental health. So some of the organisations that we discussed that can offer people who are feeling particularly anxious or stressed some support is the UNICEF website here. That gives really good pointers for young people and what they can do to help with their mental health. We've got Focus Birmingham, and this is offering support to young people. It also offers lots of advice and suggestions of services locally that are able to help people during the lockdown. So that's just not around mental health, that might be around food, access and medicines. So that's good for young people and adults. The next slide, we can see here, these are the services that are specifically for young people. And there's counselling available, there's telephone support if you need it, you can also text. So there's lots of support that's available to help if you're feeling stressed or anxious, worried, and you don't feel like you've got someone that's close to you that you can talk to, or even if you do, but things are getting worse, then you might need more professional help, and this is a good place to start. This website is new to myself. I checked it out this week and I was really pleased with it. So it's an NHS website, but it's specifically focusing on the current climate of coronavirus, and it asks you to do 6 or 7 questions. It's not specifically for young people, it's for everybody. But in my work, we have a saying which is mental illness doesn't discriminate. So, and I think that's really true. You can be any age, from any background, and mental illness and mental ill health affects everybody at some point. So when you go onto this website, you can take a quiz of 6 to 7 questions. It asks you about your lifestyle, and then at the end of it, it gives you suggestions and even offers support. So it talks about meditation, it suggests that you get exercise, all the things that are important for keeping your mental health safe and well. And I think something which I didn't know as a younger person, which has taken me many years now to learn, is how important your lifestyle choices are. So getting to understand your own mental health can start as young as you can, to start thinking about when your mood is better, when it's worse, and making the link between what's happening at the time which affects your mood. So for example, a poor night's sleep. Some people can cope with that better than others. For myself, I know that if I have one night bad sleep, then I'm not going to be very good the next day. I'm not going to function very well. I'm not going to be able to concentrate. My thoughts might be a little bit more negative. I'm not going to be able to cope with maybe anything adverse that's going to happen to me. For some people, it's hungry. If you're hungry, people become very stressed and get quite angry or snippy at people. There really is a clear link between the way that you live and the choices that you make in terms of what you eat, how much water you drink, how well you sleep, the kind of relationships that you choose to have with people, whether they're positive or negative, and your mental state. And I think it's a really good idea for young people to start recognising what those links are, because then you get to make the choices for yourself of how to benefit your mental health better. So I would definitely suggest using this website, doing the quiz and seeing what the outcome is, and it gives you some pointers so you know where you're at with your mental health. But the main thing, as always, is if you don't feel like your mental health is very good, then talk to somebody, whether that be someone at home, whether that be a friend, whether it be another family member, or whether it's someone professional. The moment that you share and you get help, the easier things become. I hope that helps. Thanks very much.
So I'm just going to return to the Stockland Green Standard there, sort of showing the detailed version. And the ones that sort of jump out to me there are showing empathy by listening, being open and offering help. I think that's going to be really, really important. And I think that could be one of the big changes to the world in general that comes out of the whole coronavirus crisis, the idea that perhaps the world will be a kinder place after this is over. And I'm just going to finish. So I'm going to finish with a few thoughts of my own and invite you to reflect on your own thoughts about this topic. So during lockdown, I've actually watched a lot more television than I normally would. And one of the things I've been really enjoying is a program on Netflix called The Last Dance, which is about the Chicago Bulls basketball team. Now, the Bulls were an amazing, amazing team with players like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and a really, really sort of exceptional team. But they weren't without their struggles. And one of the struggles that they recount in the program, I think, is a really good way to look at perhaps difficult feelings that might arise during this time. So in the show, there's a period of time where the Bulls need to beat a team called the Detroit Pistons. And if they don't beat the Detroit Pistons, they can't play for the national championship because they won't win their own sort of regional championship. And they can't do it, and they keep losing. And one of the reasons that they keep losing is because the Detroit Pistons are an incredibly physical team, and basically they foul them a lot, and they sort of play dirty, and a lot of the time the players on the Bulls team lose their composure, let their emotions get the better of them, and end up not able to concentrate and not able to play. And they go away, and the guy you can see in the very, very back of the picture there, they get a new coach. And this new coach does all kinds of things that you would have thought were really surprising for a basketball coach. So, first of all, he teaches them about the religion of the Native Americans, and he makes them practice meditation and Zen Buddhism. And they have a really good season that season, and they get to the finals of their championship, and they play the Detroit Pistons again. And it's a very, very sort of hard-fought, difficult game, and they're in sort of a crucial point in the game when one of the Pistons players, a guy called Dennis Rodman, who later goes on to play for the Bulls, he pushes one of the Bulls players into the crowd. He pushes him so hard, he stumbles off the court, and into the crowd, and could have been sort of quite badly hurt. And that actually acts as a turning point in the game, because instead of losing his temper, instead of sort of becoming scared or frightened or angry or anything, the Bulls player, Scottie Pippen, just sits up, takes a deep breath, gets up off the floor, I keep saying pitch, and composes himself, and just walks back onto the court as if nothing's ever happened. And seconds later, he scores an amazing dunk. Now, from that point on, the Pistons know they've lost the game, and the Bulls know they've won, because the only weapon that the Pistons ever had against the Bulls was the Bulls not being able to manage their emotions, was the fact that they could make them so angry that they couldn't play properly. And the Bulls go on to win the game comfortably, to win the series, and then to win the championship in the NBA for the next 3 years in a row, and be one of the sort of greatest teams ever. Now, what I think we can learn from this is that sometimes it might feel like, why aren't I calm? I should just be calm. But actually, calmness is something that you might have to actually work for, that you might have to try hard to achieve. But if you do put that work in, and you can be the person who's able to look at their own feelings objectively, to look at sort of what they're experiencing and say, okay, this is what I feel. I can act this way, that will make things worse, but I can act the other way, that will make things better. That is a really, really useful skill that will help you for life. And I think that is what the thing showed me, the clip that I watched, because they knew that once they were sort of the masters of themselves, and you can become the master of yourself by any manner of different ways, and certainly other people have to help you to do it, because they couldn't have done it without their coach and his ideas, then you can sort of understand your feelings rather than just react to them. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is just a little poem that I saw on social media this week, which I thought was quite nice. And it's about sort of the different ways that people are feeling during this time. So I'm gonna read that out to you, and then invite you to spend a few moments thinking about, what are you going to do to help yourself to understand your feelings, and perhaps to help others who are suffering from feelings they find difficult. So, one day I feel happy, the next day I feel sad. One day I feel good, the next day I feel bad. One day I feel full of energy, the next day I feel worn out. One day I feel confident, the next day I feel full of doubt. One day I feel carefree, the next day I feel I care too much. One day I feel on top of things, the next day I feel out of touch. One day I feel brave, the next day I feel scared. One day I feel ready, the next day I feel unprepared. One day I feel proud, the next day I feel shame. But I should never feel alone, because other people feel the same. Okay, goodbye, take care and stay safe.